What, Yoda?
Yeah.
Yes. You must learn how to sail in the ocean first. Punch it.
Mm-hmm. I'm the Wookiee. You're the Yodi.
Okay. Maybe this will be a video, maybe it won't. But we're off of Newport. And we have all the sails set. It's 4-foot swell. Just kind of rolly, not a lot of wind. And we're just running the engine just so that we can keep experiencing that and get more experience with it. It's kind of fun out here. But, you know, there's enough wind to sail. And then nobody came out? Like, how many? There's probably 100, 200, 400. I don't know how many sailboats are in there, but a lot.
Well, those are all parked dreams, you know. People have these like we do, right? They all have a dream.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I think.
But the dream takes work, you know, and it takes, like, you have to be consistent to work towards it. And if you're not, or if you go out and figure, like, wow, this isn't for me.
Well, then, you know, if you have a dream of sailing, big time, like cruising, and you buy a boat and you start working on it or whatever,
Right.
or if you don't start working on it, well, at some point you just have to realize that, okay, this is not the dream, and just sell the boat.
And there's nothing wrong with
Right,
that.
there's no shame
you know
in
what
it.
I mean? There's no shame.
Right. I mean,
it's like it just didn't, you know, you had this idea in your head of what this would be like, and then when you got to it, you figured, no, like, not for me. And that's okay. I'd much rather see a boat, like, get sold to somebody that's starting their dream, and who knows if they see that dream through, but
Right.
it all starts with that.
right.
You know, it all starts with that. And it's funny because I think sometimes people's pride, or they feel like a failure, and it's so not.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's the furthest thing from.
that's how I would feel like, ooh, like I told everybody, you know,
Okay.
oh, we were gonna sail to Mexico,
Right.
and
And we ended up
and then
not
we
doing
didn't
it.
do it.
But
But at the same time, it's like, well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if it's like, if the boat turns into too much work,
and also too, they're not out here experiencing what we're experiencing,
Right.
you know, so they don't know.
right?
So it's all perspective, right? It's all perspective.
And I think then the only other way to approach it is to do something like the lazy gecko girl
Oh yeah.
wind hippie does.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I mean, of course, I guess, you know, she's from a sailing family, so had lots of
Sure.
experience, but she also just got a boat, worked on it, and left.
Right. And it wasn't perfect.
Right.
She just like, that good enough. Let's
Yeah,
go.
and like kind of like she points out, like, well, I don't have a water maker, and I
Right.
don't have an ice box,
Right.
and refrigeration, and
But she's doing it.
yeah, and not just like short, or like Sam Holmes, you know,
Yeah.
a 23-foot
Oh my
boat.
God, I know.
It's unbelievable.
Went
I mean,
to Hawaii for crying
right.
out loud. Like, with,
So,
like,
here we
no.
are on this west sail,
Right,
worried about a 2-day trip to Astoria.
right. Oh, God.
But
You don't take it lightly, but you also, it's, you know, sailing, I would say, is a huge mental game.
yeah,
It's a huge mental game because, you know, you obviously need to be prepared, but also, you know, you gotta get it, you have to get out of your head because
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
never frickin' leave the dock if you don't get out of your head.
it's like what Spiker says, just
go.
go out there and turn left.
Right. But I think these days, obviously, this is not the best wind day to come out, but it was the best day to come out and just be on the boat and to be in the ocean, feel the swell, see how all the things are kind of like
But also, if the only time you ever went out was the best wind day, and you wanted to be a cruiser, you're never going to go sailing, because this is a good day just to learn the boat. And there would be days that you're cruising that are like this. So this is experience.
I mean, the one thing about sailing is like no 2 days are the same.
I don't know. You know, this boat has stressed me out a lot. It's a lot to chew, and it's got had a lot of systems that were basically non-functional, and still has a lot of systems that need to be replaced and parts that are just kind of worn out. And it's, you know, it's a lot of friggin' work to do.
Right, especially when you have a full-time job on top of that, and, you know, like, just trying to make that happen. The thing about ocean sailing is, I mean, you're out there, but also you've got freaking room.
Yeah.
You've got room for the boat.
Yeah.
So you're not worried that you're going to run into this or run into that. The whole thing is to keep the boat tapped.
Yeah. Yeah, river sailing's different.
It's way different. And there's a lot of pros to it too, you know, but like even this boat, when we get it to Portland, like it's just gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a big boat in a narrow river. The further you get up, that's where
I mean, we don't have any experience really sailing a cutter, but I would think if you're going to sail in the river and need to tack quickly, make quick tacks, I wouldn't have the head sail. I'd just use the interstay sail.
Right.
Because then it's more like just a little sailboat. It's more like a, what do you call it? Marconi rig? Now I still will be really trippy when we go far enough out to where you can't see the land. Because even today, it's like, oh, it's just right there.
We talk about the lesson of being in the now. You know, because like when you think about it, when you're able to see the land, you're thinking, oh, that's over there. That's there. And like when you're in the ocean and you don't have like any point of reference of going anywhere, there isn't over there. It's right here. You know?
I was thinking about it when I was a kid in Minneapolis and I was learning how to sail. And then one year I went there to my dad's and I was into remote control airplanes, and then I convinced my dad, or I don't know, somehow we ordered a remote control boat, sailboat. But I didn't have couldn't afford the little winches and stuff for it. So it was just basically a boat that you would set and it would go out and sail on its own. But it was a cutter. And I hadn't thought about that until, I don't know, last week, 2 weeks ago. I was like, wow, that was a cutter and this is a cutter.